Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Just Open It, the YouTube series in which I open recently acquired toys. My name is Russ. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you're a fellow toy collector or a fan of pop culture in general, please subscribe to my channel, Karaoke Fanboy TV. All of the videos I'll be posting between now and the release of the Masters of the Universe feature film in June will feature my opening a Masters of the Universe toy. Today I'm opening Tri-Klops, one of the characters that will be featured in the upcoming He-Man movie. And I'm very excited to get into this character as he came out in 2021, this Masters of the Universe Origins edition. So it's about time I tear into this guy and see if he is reminiscent of the Tri-Klops we all had when we were kids. Let's get right into him here. I'm looking forward to Tri-Klops' role in the upcoming Masters of the Universe movie because I believe he'll be something of Skeletor's man-in-arms. In the Mike Young produced Masters of the Universe cartoon of the early 2000s, Tri-Klops kind of adopted that role of Skeletor's tech guy. And I don't know if I remember that being a part of his character from when I was a kid, but it is certainly a cool development in that way, to give him something that's unique to him. And he does have this kind of tech aspect to his persona, to his name and his visage here, so to speak, because he has the Tri-Kloptic visor, which turns very easily, as you can see. I have a little, looks like a little blemish on that visor that is not picking right off. Of course, 5 years later, I'm not sure I could contact Mattel for the quality control, but that's okay. I think my favorite eye is this one, so that's what we'll stick with. Of course, the packed-in mini comic. Again, this is 5 years old at this point, but Ninjor looks like the titular character here, as far as his sneak attack on Castle Grayskull, I think. I'm sure I read this years ago, but no recollection of the story. You know, I find the mini comics that came with Masters of the Universe Origins generally pretty forgettable, unfortunately, considering how awesome the mini comics of the original series of the 80s were. These just seem kind of like short 6-8 page little tales. I would hope to introduce these characters to a new audience, but when this series came out, there wasn't a cartoon or anything backing them up, so the Easter eggs would fall on deaf ears if the original target of the Origins line, if the original target audience was youth. So I guess they would be dependent on like their parents or something explaining who some of these characters are. Now, obviously, these characters, since most of them are online exclusives, are for adults. So I guess it doesn't matter so much anymore. But you would think with an adult audience, there would be a higher caliber of mini comic. The quality of the art and the writing would be better because you know you're targeting a more sophisticated readership with them. It's just not hitting me that way. And where I'm finding the real value in this line is in the figures. So here he is, all the standard points of articulation that make Origins so cool and absolutely my favorite action figure line probably of all time. I find his harness to be a little loose, which is interesting. Not prohibitive to display or anything like that, but and maybe that malleability just helps with the additional points of articulation that this line has to offer. Now his sword is completely wrapped up in a plastic bag, which I find so superfluous. But let's see if I could get in here. The conceit of opening these guys the way I do is if I'm a kid and I just want to tear into this and play with it, why are there so many barriers of entry? Let's see if his sword itself will, there we go, tear through the plastic. Again, I'm a kid. I have my phone, I have my PlayStation, I have, you know, my Game Boy, I have my you know, my VR goggles, whatever kids are playing with nowadays. If this takes more than 5 seconds to rip into, I'm out, right? My attention span is shot. So the sword did come out. Put it in Tri-Klops' hand. And look, let's talk about the potential elephant in the room when it comes to this character in the context of the upcoming He-Man movie. A black actor was cast as Tri-Klops, and some very vocal fans are having issues with the race swapping of Tri-Klops and Man-at-Arms, for example. Look, we're talking about a planet where there are blue-skinned people, green-skinned people, orange-skinned people. The skin color of these characters isn't as important as capturing the essence of these characters. I mean, if Beastman was a little more red than the orange we remember from the action figure or Filmation, if Spikor was a different shade of violet, would the argument be as poignant as some people are making it out to be in regards to skin color? Now, again, and I've said this I think in past videos, if I want my grandma, if I want my girlfriend to go see Masters of the Universe with me, then saying Idris Elba is in it might be a stronger selling point than, hey, they have Mechaneck in it. My grandma's going to be like, Mechaneck? My grandma actually might remember who Mechaneck is, because they bought all of these figures for me back in the early 80s for Christmas. But being able to sell actors like that, of that caliber, it's a crucial element in the marketing of these movies. And I've seen Idris Elba in the previews. I've heard his voice. There are some scenes that are especially reminiscent of the Man-at-Arms from the Filmation cartoon, specifically when he's telling Adam that when he falls, that's his chance to stand tall. Tell me when he says stand tall, you're not hearing a little bit of that Alan Oppenheimer kind of from the diaphragm projecting out as the mentor figure, as the wise guy, no pun intended there, the wise person that's in the roster of the Masters, kind of that old guard who's passing knowledge and training and wisdom to the younger up-and-coming generation like Prince Adam and Teela. It suits me just fine. Now, if I'm watching the movie and I feel like, well, that didn't feel like Man-at-Arms in the fact that he wasn't innovative, he wasn't resourceful, he didn't have a lot of weaponry at his disposal, he wasn't brilliant, he wasn't wise, then I'd be like, okay, this isn't working. So that's the standard by which I'm going to be proceeding into this movie. Same thing goes for Tri-Klops' character. He was always a little dark-skinned. Now, to say he is black, I think, wouldn't be quite accurate when it comes to his original action figure. But he's definitely tan. He's definitely toned. In fact, some of these body parts could be interchanged with He-Man's more olive complexion, and that's totally okay. So, again, let's just see how it plays out first. Is Tri-Klops going to be a guy that has a visor that spins like this in the movie? Then that is more than we would probably ever get. And I am excited to celebrate that part of the lore here. Tell me if I'm off base. Put your typical, predictable comments below. And I've seen them all at this point on Facebook, in the He-Man fan groups, the message boards, and so on. Kind of ridiculous, some of the stuff people are saying. But all in all, I think the hype for this movie is getting to be pretty real. And it's exciting to see that Origins might have been, you know, as I'm posing this character here and just getting him into some battle poses, Origins might have been the launching pad for which some of these characters attained a little bit of mainstream appeal on the pegs at Walmart and Target initially. And this might have been where the snowball started rolling to get us this movie today. So I'm very excited to be opening these figures once and for all and getting them on my shelf and looking forward to this amazing Masters of the Universe movie that will be coming out in, as I record this, a little less than a month at this point. Tri-Klops, everything I remember here in a very fond way. Absolutely love it. And I think the eyes have it. If you liked this commentary in any way, please consider following me on Instagram as well at AmazingAZ Comics. I do self-publish my own mini comics and zines, and I post about them there. Until next time, tune in when I grab another unopened Masters of the Universe toy from the growing pile here in my living room, and I tell myself, you know what? Just open it. I'll catch you next time.